First of all, I'd like to thank every one of you for coming over. Secondly, this is the first time I'm recording my English. So I don't know, I'm not too comfortable, but I have to do it because I promised some people I'll do it. The way I'm going to start to talk about is how did I come to know ayahuasca? That's very important. And then once we go through that, I'm going to say, how did I convince everybody, because I have a family, that I have to convince them that I want to go. And it's very difficult because this is, people consider this psychedelic drug and is a number one psychedelic drug. And to me, is the king of all drugs. So the people who know me, I haven't smoked marijuana at least for 45 years, you know, so I've been clean from marijuana for 45 years, or I'm not, for at least for 10 years, I'm not even drinking alcohol, only on a ceremony when people have a wedding, you know, just for just toast, you know, I drink. It's not that you know, because I don't want to get to the reason of because and all that, because that takes our time. So we want to get to the core of our conversation. So how I got there, and then what happened when I got there, who are there, who are these people that serve this, and what happened to me, my experience of ayahuasca is, we're going to get to that. And then what is the analytical analysis of the whole thing, because that's, everybody would say with their scientific mind, oh, because of this and that this is happening, or this, you know. So these are and then we answer the question, or in between the conversation, if the question comes in, you're welcome to ask. Because we have this channel, YouTube channel, Shahnameh for Modern Time, we get to what is Shahnameh talking about. And when you go through that, we find out there is, the reason I'm saying religious, because our mind, the society mind, anytime they call anybody is spiritual, they said, what's religion? What is this religion? What is, you know, they think you have to have a specific religion. But being religious or being spiritual is two different things. Spiritual is between a person himself or whoever he wants to. And religion is organized. It's you belong to this religion or that religion. And religion, they advertise that they're spiritual. I'm not too sure whether they are or not, but I consider myself a spiritual person. The difference between the spirituality and religion is, religion have a prophet. There is somebody have talked to the God, or God give him the instruction and so on, and he's relating that information to us, and whoever is that particular to that religion follows whatever that person says or guideline and so on. This spirituality is not around anybody. There is nobody. It's a person and whoever he wants to. If it's a God or whatever it is, you know, this is spiritual. But it's something beyond the logic of the mind. You know, the mind always have certain logic for it. You know, the spiritual happens that you have hard time saying what is this or that. In English, they said paganism for the Ain Mehri. We call it Mehri. Those are the religion before Zoroastrian, before Zardosht, So Zardosht himself, he never claimed he is a prophet or anything. What he did is he tried to organize the spirituality of the Ain Mehri. It's the Mehri sect, which in English, because so many religions before Jesus Christ or before Abrahamian religion, they call them paganism. It's not one. But Ain Mehri is two separate.
Just a note, I think we could also call it Persian Mithraism.
Persian Mithraism, yeah, that'd be fine.
Which is true, which is paganism.
First of all, this is too far. We're talking about 6,000, 8,000 years before. It's not something, and then naming it, it loses the meaning of it. The naming it, we're not really emphasizing our meaning. But there's two different Mithraism. One is before Zardosht and one is after Zardosht. So we're talking about the Mithraism before Zardosht. So it's not the type of Mithraism that Jesus Christ is somehow similar to the Mithraism of after Zardosht. So they had a drink. It's called hum. In Farsi language, called hum. H-O-M. Or maybe how you want to spell it. Its pronunciation is hum. And that's in Farsi they call it. So I've been searching to see what was in that drink, ceremonial drink for the Mithraism. And when I was searching for it, the reason I was searching, Jamshid is a person who organized the whole country, organized the civilization of that time. But don't forget, the people of that time were just like people who live in Amazon. We live in jungle. The whole thing, the Shahnameh talks about they came from the mountain down. So it's not the civilization that we're talking about, the cities, So the whole thing is way, way old. Jamshid was a homemaker also. He was a king, and he was a person who was running the country, and he was a homemaker. The father of Zardosht himself was a homemaker. So these are the people who made this drink. So I was looking for this drink. Prior to going to Peru, I thought, I read for this home, I couldn't find any ingredient. What is in this drink that they were drinking? Many people from the ancient book, they were saying it's sort of mushroom. Nowadays call it magic mushroom. That's also #1 drug, classified in this country #1 drug. Now, because I'm talking about class #1 drug, I like to clarify. I'm not recommending anybody to use anything. This is just personal experience, and I'm not saying do drink it or don't drink it, because this is drug. The legality, I'm not recommending to anybody. Anybody can do anything they want to do. So this is just to make myself clear. They were saying mushrooms. And Reza Jorjani also Jason Georgiani, also he says it's a mushroom. You know, he researched so many of the Mithraism in English, and he's got good sources, and I agree with many of his findings. But I didn't believe that. So I wanted to go in Peru because what they were talking about, ayahuasca. I didn't know what it is. I just want to go see it firsthand. So I started researching the ayahuasca. Once I find out what is going on, Iranian community, even any Western community, they think this is this is druggies. You know, these are the people who take LSD. Oh, the LSD is or DMT is these are all druggy people, and they wear beer. You know, like a extremist hippie. You know, so it was a bad social image. So how would I tell my wife, my daughter, my son-in-law that I want to go there? So for 2 years, I was just researching. And then the research got so much that I decided I want to go because I don't want to die before I taste these things. I said, I want to have this taste and experience before I die. And if in a process I die, I don't care. This is my life. So I start slowly. I was in Oregon. I said maybe I talked to my daughter who's there in Oregon, and one of my son-in-law was there, not the husband of the daughter there, other son-in-law. So we were sitting in a car, and I said, hey, you guys, do you know I want to go to Peru? So, oh, Dad, why do you choose Peru? Why don't we go to Nice or this and that? I said, no, you guys don't understand. I just want to go to Peru for my spiritual. What spiritual you talking about? I said, the same thing that, like Shahnameh for modern time and all that. I said, so what is there that you want? I said, there's a drink called ayahuasca. What is it called? I said, ayahuasca. And I start spelling it. And my daughter, she says, Dad, and she starts tearing, and she's driving. She says, Dad, I have a kid. I cannot leave it alone. My husband is very busy with his work. He cannot. If something happened to you there, and he pointed out to my other son-in-law, he says, he's managing people's money. He cannot leave the state. It's too much of a stake for him. I have to go to jungle and to bring your body back. And I'm asking you where the address is, and you're telling me you don't know. There's no address because they asked me, where are you going? I said, I don't have the address. There's no address. Says, then how do you go? I said, people come in, grab me from the hotel, and we go through the boat, and we go to this Amazon jungle. She goes, how would I find this body? Dad, please don't do that to me. And I said, daughter, there's nothing I can do about destiny. Do you know destiny? If your destiny is to go grab the bodies of your dad in Amazon, that's your destiny. You gotta do it. There's nothing I can do, This is. So that conversation started spreading in a family, he said that, but no plans, none of this is done. So finally, my wife heard it, and she got very upset. What's going on? I have to be the last person to know what, if you're going someplace, what is going on? What kind of man you are, I said, I'm sorry, this is, she goes, what is this? And I start explaining, what is this ayahuasca? You drink ayahuasca, this is, So I took time waiting for opportunity to show some video, or when she's watching something else, to bring something, start to calm her down and so on. And finally, we got to talk, and she goes, I tell you what, over my dead body you go. I said, no problem. It's okay. It's okay. There's nothing we can do. This is what's going on. So I said, honey, I would never call her honey. I always call my wife Hanumjan. Hanumjan. That's what but honey is the best translation I can say. I said, honey, you've got two choices. You've got one choice, be the way you are, and one day you see your husband is not home, and you don't know what happened. Is he coming tonight or not? And the next day or nothing, who to call, where to go, or anything. That's one clear choice. And I might show up 2 months later, or I might not show up at all, and all of that. So that's one choice. The other choice is cooperate. I tell you where I'm going, when I'm going, so you will know all of that. So this was very tough choices. So, but I really, in my heart, I wouldn't leave. This was just a talk. I have to be honest, because sometimes prior to going to ayahuasca, I could hide something in me. After going to ayahuasca, I tell you, there is nothing I can hide in me. When I was a kid, I was told, anywhere you go, God is present. Whatever you do, God is watching you. And as a kid, I was watching, I want to do something that my mom says don't do, but what I want to do. And God is watching, and so on. But I start to believe that maybe I can hide someplace, just like Adam did when he ate his apple. I figure, okay, I can hide and do something that the God don't see, right? So, and then later on, that disappeared in my mind, the God is, but the experience I got with ayahuasca, I know ayahuasca is present on me. I cannot hide anything. So I don't do anything that I cannot. So I'm telling you, because in my heart, I bluff her. It's not that I really meant it, but I say it in a strong way that she thought that is going to happen. And that was not nice, because it's a bad game to play, but this is me. I did it. I'm sorry. So what happened? No dates and all that, but at the meantime, I'm communicating. There are thousands of this center in Peru. Now every plane that you go goes in that direction. In no matter what city, at least 2-3 people are in it, European or American or Canadian. They're going for ayahuasca. So you meet them there. It's not something that is not. It's something that to me, it's going to get legalized. It's going to be because in this country, because there's a lot of research for ayahuasca. So what happened is, I was talking to them which one to go, because some of them are commercial, for the money wise. Some of them are real. Some of them are not real. Who is the right shaman, because shaman, what they call is somebody who is supposed to be with his generation of dealing with this type of plant. They call it plant medicine. They don't call it drug. This is medicine. And it's not only one type of plant. So since we're talking about this plant, I'm going to show it to you so you guys know. This plant, the ayahuasca, is made out of two things. They make different types and different ingredients at different places. One of the ingredients is a bark of the tree that is like a vine, okay? But they only use the bark of it, not the leaves or anything. And some people, they scrape off this, and some people don't. And this is very hard, strong word. People who go there in ayahuasca ceremony, they have to work to make this. When they were making it, I was told ayahuasca, which drink, knows with how much you work put in there. To me, it didn't make sense. When my wife asked me, because I explained to her what happened, what do they believe, and so on, and she goes, "Do you really believe that?" And I told her, I'm not going all the way from here to there not believing. There's a placebo effect. There's a drug that you take, and 50% of them is a drug, the other 50% can be sugar or anything else, just a powder. And 50% of the people who drank powder, they get cured. I don't want to miss out on that. I really wholeheartedly believe. But I tell you what, when I say that, and I try to believe, but I find out when I got there, no, you don't believe it. There I could, right at the middle of ayahuasca trip, no, you don't believe. You never believed it. You just said it. You know, it's very, this is the place that only the honesty, the truth comes out. There's nothing, you cannot show, you cannot say things. So when they were telling me at the time I was there, work hard on this because ayahuasca, that drink would know how hard you work, you know. So I didn't believe, what are you talking about? They start, you have to work breaking this, and then they put it in the big pot, and there's another leaf. This, along with another leaf, is called chacruna. That's a green leaf. And you put this, they cook it 3 hours time. So that would be 9 hours. The same thing. They cook it, the water gets low, they dump it, they fill it with water again, and they dump it, and they do it 3 times. That becomes 9 hours. And then all this dump that they do, they cook it again another 2-3 hours. So that's total of 12 hours, and that becomes the ayahuasca drink. I don't get to the chemical part of it and all of that. So if we had time, maybe we get to it, but, not now. So I told her I believe that, but I find during this time, when I'm communicating, I find a place that I like to go. Okay, and then I communicate with them. Told them, because you have to tell them, why are you going there? Any of these centers, they just don't accept you. You say, I'm alcoholic, I want to come in, I want to get my alcoholic over. Or I have some mental problem, or I have family problem, or whatever problem you have, or whatever, you have to have a reason why you're going there. In my reason, I was communicating with them that I'm searching for this drink that is in the old Iranian religion and so on, and this is what I'm looking for and all that, they become very much interested. So we start communicating back and forth, and they give me the discount for that, because they figure somebody is doing the research, but it was a research, but I benefited a lot, I benefited so much. I benefited. So what happened? I didn't know the time. I didn't know anything, but I knew what's going on, and then something happened. But in my heart, I wanted to go anytime, right? Something happened. Suddenly, my beloved sister-in-law died in Iran. She was okay, everything fine, just 1 week she had some infection, went to hospital, died. And my wife gets, she's obviously having a problem. So I helped her to do getting the passport renewed, everything, and she left. The minute she left, I called ayahuasca. She's not here. She's not here. And I said, while you out there, I'm in Peru. So airplane management, get all the tickets, everything, talk to them. They said, this center you have to pay in advance, they have to schedule you, because they knew me. I told them the story. I said, this is what's going on. And that lady, she is so kind on the emails, and so she accommodated me right away and everything. I get all my shot. Now, before I get my shot, I go to my doctor because I need this shot. Some of them is prescription. My doctor says, no, you cannot go. I won't write you a prescription. Why? Because I have aneurysm. I don't describe you what the aneurysm is. It's right on top of the heart. It's like a cane right up there. It's bulge, and the heart has to, the blood pressure, if it goes up high, this is a problem. And ayahuasca, one thing is raise your blood pressure. So I said, no, if you go there, for sure you die. I said, okay, no problem, no problem. Thank you very much. You're not writing me a prescription. I start writing my will. I said, here it is. This is what no matter what, because I had a call. Sometimes you get the call. You gotta go. There's nothing. Some in your ears, and believe me, whoever I met in Peru, they had a call. It's not that somebody goes for pleasure and all of that. You get a call. There's no avoidance. And I tell you, when I get through the experience, I tell you what happened. So I went to, the other doctor says no. I went to the center, check, where they giving the travel medicine, and then I find a center in Oakland, which their doctor is not in the office. There is so many centers because they know what country, what prescription needed. So they wrote me prescription, and then the lady says, why are you going there? I said, I'm going for ayahuasca. She goes, what? I said, ayahuasca. And they give me a prescription, but the printout came out, says, ayahuasca is not recommended. So that's the thing. I said, fine, I'm ready. I said, okay, I'm going to go prepare myself. I went out, bought one of my this blood pressure gauge that you do by hand. You can do it anywhere. Before I go to ayahuasca, I want to bring my blood pressure as low as possible. So when the ayahuasca raises it, still be okay, So I did all of that. And one thing, because they said, what, when you write to the center, they said, what medicine do you take? So I said, aspirin, this and this and that. And they said, we cannot get you. Why? Because you have a heart problem. I said, I don't have a heart problem. My heart is okay. This blood pressure medicine is to keep the so I convinced them to take me. So this was, I took a plane. It takes 20 hours to get there. Now, worst thing is you don't know where you're going, because the jungle don't have address. You know, it's where you go. Some of these centers, they have address. But the one I liked, it didn't have address. But they give me the address in a city called Pucallpa. Pucallpa is a city that is a 1 hour, 15 minutes trip from Lima. Lima is the capital, and then you go take another plane to go to Pucallpa, and then to Pucallpa, it's a city that very primitive, very, very primitive. You hardly find cars. It's a tricycle, they call it taxi, you know, it goes different places. And people are poor, very, very poor. The buildings are poor, and so it's not something. But I love it, you know, because now I go to the, you know, because this civilization not always been like this. We have been like that before, so that's our past. So because I play music in Persian Center, and a guy says, I wasn't there, and a guy says, they ask, where is Ayamari? And the guy says, oh, he went out to see his family in Peru. No, in Amazon jungle. He went out to see. So when I heard that, I like it, because we all have family there. It's not we all came from the jungle, you know. It's not only me. So this was the trip to go there, and they come in and they get us. We went there. The day one is not we just introduction and sit around. The rooms, and it's all like a cabin, but the cabin, this is the best one I could find there. On the road, these people, instead of going to the tribes, instead of bringing a shaman from the tribes, these people went to the tribes. So there's two different, so like there is a place here close to us in Marin County and in Santa Cruz that they brought a shaman, one from Brazil and one from Peru, that the shaman is here. So the shaman is from brought here. So some of these jungle, when they make some of these center, they built the center, but they bring a shaman from the tribes. Now, these people, they went right at the middle of the tribes and built this center right at the middle of the tribes. Now, these tribes there are so many different tribes in Amazon. This one called Shipibo. So instead of having one shaman, we had a luxury of having 6, 7 at night. There is the place called Pachamama. They didn't tell me to tell who, you know, to go there. I liked it very much myself, so I'm not giving advertising for them.
That's your mic.
Okay, sorry. So there is a lady, old lady, that everybody is her family. Sons, son-in-laws, and daughters, and so on. They all been trained by their their ancestor and all that.